to Matthew Aldridge and the individual standing before me whose name must not be uttered.
When
I'm talking, you stop talking. What I know what you're trying to do is to try to use the sovereign citizen approach. You cannot challenge the criminal law or the jurisdiction of this court by simply filing some legal mumbo jumbo.
This guy walked into court and refused to even give the judge his name. Instead, he starts calling himself an attorney and tries to hand the court a stack of legal documents like he's about to expose some massive loophole. The judge isn't buying any of it. And once the court realizes he's using all this legal jargon to avoid answering basic questions, the situation gets even more ridiculous. Refusing to identify yourself doesn't magically put you outside the court's jurisdiction. It just makes an already bad situation worse. Let's get into it.
All right. Good morning. We're going to go through the docket as quickly as we can so that we can start on the jail docket. 2021 CR 19158, State versus Matthew Aldridge. Are you Matthew Aldridge? Are you Matthew Aldridge?
I'm the attorney of fact for Matthew Aldridge.
You were what?
The attorney of fact.
Attorney what?
Of fact.
Attorney of fact. And what does that mean?
His authorization to do legal representation.
Are you a licensed attorney?
No, I'm simply an attorney of fact.
Okay. And does that mean you have a power of attorney? What is your name? What is your name?
My name?
Yes, sir.
I don't have.
You don't have a name? Pardon?
I'm the attorney of fact for the respondent error.
Well, let me explain to you. Only an attorney at law can stand in court and represent a criminal defendant. And to do so otherwise violates the criminal law statutes of the state of Tennessee and could land someone who attempts to represent themselves as an attorney at law in serious trouble. I understand what you're saying. I understand you're saying an attorney in fact. And what I want you to understand is that if you have a power of attorney, then you need to demonstrate that power of attorney. Do you have a legal document called a power of attorney?
No, I do not at this time.
Okay. Then you don't have any authority to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge in this court. You have no legal authority, nor do you have any authority through a legal document to represent or to act on behalf of Matthew Aldridge.
Why don't the court just let me file this document?
Show it to the bailiff and he'll show it to me. Apparently there's a copy here. All right. This is in the state of Tennessee of Cheatham County and Chancery Court, which is filed in the wrong county because in the wrong court, because this is circuit court. You just be quiet.
You go to the courthouse, it comes up.
You need to listen to me instead of talking, okay? This is a challenge to the standing. The Supreme Court of the United States has stated that no corporation has standing anything to man. And then there's a quotation for Rundle versus Delaware Raritan Canal Company. And then it said, as well as it being a maximum of law, citing certain Latin phrases, dissimilar things ought not to be joined by a definition of Black's Law Dictionary. So the respondent in error requires that the state of Tennessee Incorporated and Cheatham County Chancery Court prove their standing to proceed against a man in any court of law. You have 15 calendar days to prove your standing or forever yield to estoppel, waiver, and fraud, and cease and desist this proceeding immediately. More time is available if requested. And then this was signed by Matthew O'Neill Aldridge. Is that your signature?
That's the respondent in error signature.
All right. Well, I find that Matthew Neal Aldridge has failed to appear personally in this court for the plea day on his case, which was set for trial tomorrow. And as a result, you have no standing, sir, under what I know what you're trying to do is to try to use the sovereign citizen approach to this situation. And I'm simply telling you that you do not have the right to represent Matthew Neal Aldridge if you are, in fact, Matthew Neal Aldridge.
This is where the whole argument starts falling apart. He filed paperwork demanding that the court prove its authority, but the problem is, this is a criminal case, not some random civil dispute where an old case citation is going to magically change the rules. He's throwing around legal terms and handing the judge documents, but none of it actually answers the basic question. Who are you? And why are you refusing to participate in your own case? And that's what makes these sovereign citizen-style arguments so frustrating. They can sound complicated if you're not familiar with the terminology, but complicated wording doesn't automatically make an argument legally valid. The judge isn't required to debate every theory someone brings into court. At some point, the defendant has to follow the same rules as everyone else. And refusing to even state your name isn't some clever legal loophole. The court already knows exactly who is standing there. So what do you guys think? Was Aldridge genuinely convinced these arguments would work, or was he just trying to delay the case?
Then you need to say so and stop this nonsense, because what you're attempting to do has no legal effect. You cannot challenge the criminal law or the jurisdiction of this court by simply filing some legal mumbo jumbo having to do with civil litigation. That has civil litigation in it. It is not a criminal case that you have cited. So it has no effect on this court regarding the criminal statutes of this court. This court is empowered under the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the state of Tennessee and by the duly elected citizens of Cheatham County to empower and enforce the laws of the state of Tennessee. And that is what I'm going to do regarding Matthew Lynn Aldridge. Mr. Aldridge is set for today to appear in court personally on what we call our last plea day before his trial date tomorrow.
Question. Is that an article pre-trial?
To what?
Will that be an article pre-trial? A trial by jury with jury?
It would be a trial by jury, certainly it would be. But I don't know who you are. And I don't think you have any authority if you are not Matthew Lynn Aldridge to appear before this court. And you're wasting valuable time to all of these other citizens who are here today. So when I'm talking, you stop talking. No, you will when I'm finished talking. You are wasting the court's time by doing this, and I'm just simply instructing you that if you are, in fact, Matthew Lynn Aldridge, then this is your last day to settle your case. The trial date is set for tomorrow, and unfortunately, it will not go forward because of the fact that I have a conflict and I have to be in Stewart County on a civil matter. So we're going to assign a new trial date for Matthew Lynn Aldridge. General, we're going to need to set a trial date in July.
July 15th.
I'm sorry.
July 15th.
July 15th. All right. To Matthew Aldridge and the individual standing before me whose name must not be uttered, then we will set a July 15th trial date for Mr. Aldridge. Whatever this document is that you have filed is in fact invalid because it does not cite any valid criminal statute, and therefore I'm denying whatever that might be in the way of a motion. The trial date will be July 15th. The last day for Mr. Aldridge to enter a plea or go to trial will be July the 8th. July the 8th. Now, we're going to give you a card. If you are, in fact, Matthew Aldridge and you're just playing games with the court regarding this nonsense that you filed, then you may get this card and you may go on about your business. If you are not Matthew Aldridge, then I would suggest to you, you relay to Mr. Aldridge that he must appear on July the 8th, or a bond revocation will take place, and his case will be will take place with him in jail, incarcerated on the 15th. That's the judgment of the court. You need to take your piece of paper and go on about your business.
At this point, the paperwork hasn't accomplished anything except wasting everyone's time. Aldridge still has a criminal case, he still has court dates, and refusing to cooperate hasn't made any of that disappear. The wild part is how confident he seems while doing all of this. He's standing in front of a judge acting like a few legal citations can completely change the rules of the courtroom. But that's not how criminal procedure works. You can't simply declare yourself outside the court's authority and expect the judge to agree with you. And now there's another court date coming up, which means this entire stunt could end up making his situation even worse if he keeps refusing to cooperate. At some point, you have to wonder whether he's actually fighting the case or just fighting the reality that the case exists. So what do you think? Does Aldridge finally show up and deal with the case, or are we about to see another courtroom showdown? Let me know down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.